Hello, Awakeners. What if your earliest memory held the blueprint of your soul's journey? What if the moment you first thought, I am, marked not just awareness, but a spiritual awakening that still shapes your life? Rudolf Steiner, a philosopher, architect, and father of Waldorf education, stated that we are wisest in the first 3 years of life. It is during this time that our previous life essence is still working through us, and we are carefree in our expression and our experiences. It is during our first 3 years that we are living unconsciously and accomplish amazing tasks in our development. These amazing spiritual tasks are that we learn to walk, speak, and think. We take these ideas for granted in our life. Let's move further into Steiner's worldview and see what he thinks. Number 1, walking, finding our way. Parents feel this inner striving, anticipation, curiosity, excitement when they know their child is about to take their first steps, when they first start to stand and start wiggling their legs in anticipation. So what is this? What is this feeling that parents have? Is it some deeper intuitive knowledge that our children are about to embark on the first steps of their own personal life journey? We have stopped being aware of these moments and we take them for granted. As a baby, we orientate ourselves in space. No one makes us walk. We have to learn and develop this of our own free will. And we develop this skill by getting up and falling down many times. Our soul establishes the relationship to space and shapes the way we move and the energy we carry. If you ever try to pretend to walk and be someone else, you can feel the difference within your body. It is because the way the person moves represents their soul life. Steiner says, in the early years of life, we learn about the spirit, first to walk. That is, we learn under the guidance of the spirit to find our way in earthly life. End quote. Number 2 is speaking, expressing truth. Steiner says that we need to develop our larynx, and we could not develop our larynx in isolation. So we need to hear language to be able to make it our own. We learn language from within, from our higher self, and language allows us to connect and express ourselves with others. Language is, quote, the bearers of spiritual life that permeates the physical world primarily by means of human beings, end quote. In the Bible, the word is God. We have spelling, where words create spells. Language is important. Words are important. Steiner says that our soul being needs to be stimulated to learn language. We need to develop the larynx before our earliest memory, before we attain full eye consciousness, so that the larynx can become an organ of speech. Steiner says, then we learn to speak, to formulate the truth out of our spirit, out of the spirit. In the words, we develop the essence of truth, and out of speech sounds, end quote. Once we've found our voice, we begin to form thoughts, and Steiner sees thinking not as mere logic, but as a spiritual faculty shaped by our higher being. Number 3, thinking, forming the I. The development of our brain is important as it is a tool of thinking, and thinking, according to Steiner's view, is our way to the cosmos. Through feeling, we experience our inner world, and through thinking, which is tapped into ideas, instinct, intuition, that all reaches to the cosmos, to our higher self. We develop our own brains. No one else can do this for us, and this is done through our spirit, through our divine self, our essential being. And our brain becomes an instrument to express our nature and our unique self. Our brain at birth, according to Steiner, comes from our parents and ancestors. And he says, it is our thinking that we bring to expression what we are as individuals in conformity with our former early lives. End quote. We transform the brain we have inherited from our ancestors into our own unique, authentic identity. One more quote of Steiner's regarding the brain development. He says, "We also develop the brain, the organ of our life as earthly eye beings." End quote. Now let's move on to the threshold of memory and the I consciousness. When we are young, in our first 3 to 4 years of life, our soul is connected to the spiritual realm. It is during this time that it has the freedom to shape these three components, walking, speech, and thinking, in our development. Then comes the I consciousness, and this is the moment of our earliest memory. Once the I consciousness moves in, it establishes its own relationship to the outer world. Our higher self works from the spirit world deep into our bodies. The brain is formed out of spirit. What happens during these first 3 years does not become part of our conscious life. So it'd be great for parents and grandparents and all those around young children to document these first 3 years as much as they can. So after our first memory, around the 3rd or 4th year of life, consciousness takes over and we enter a sleep, forgetting who we were when we had these powerful spiritual forces working through us. The forces that prevent our higher self from continuing to work through us after our first memory come from the earth. Steiner speaks of a future when the earthly and spiritual realms will separate. Others, like Dolores Cannon and even the Bible, echo this vision of a spiritual evolution of humanity. When it comes time for the earth to separate, humanity needs to have advanced to be able to surrender totally to the spiritual world. The goal of evolution is to work on us evolving our whole being, physical and spiritual, to surrender to the higher powers that worked on us in early childhood. And this surrendering is not easy. This is an area of passion for me, to help people move through these hard, difficult times. And that's why I created the Cosmic Shake-Up Survival Guide. It's there to offer some grounding tools during this journey of remembering and realignment. So I will have a link for it below if you are interested. Steiner states, "Thus, in the first 3 years of life, we learn 3 things. We learn to find the way, that is to walk. We learn to represent the truth with our organism, and we learn to express life in our body through the spirit." End quote. The spiritual forces that guide us through this process is Christ consciousness. Steiner uses 3 terms. He talks about Christ consciousness a lot, and he also talks about a higher self, and he also refers to the concept of the best self. And I believe in his writings all of these terms to mean essentially the same thing. So we can find Christ consciousness during our life if we dive into self-knowledge, explore ourselves. Who are we? When Steiner speaks of Christ consciousness, he's speaking of a wise, benevolent force guiding our development, inspiring creativity, and helping us to heal our bodies. Another Steiner quote says, "Our body becomes the expression of the way, the truth, and the life. Similarly, the human spirit gradually becomes the conscious bearer of the way, the truth, and the life by permeating itself with Christ. Thereby, we transform ourselves in the course of our earthly lives into the power at work in us in childhood." End quote. So what does this look like in real life, in our lives? I'll share with you how this showed up in my earliest memory. I recently posted a story in my Sunday Story playlist on YouTube about my earliest memory of me being about 4 years old, having my family laugh at me, and feeling fired with determination, anger, and motivation to run away. The story continues on how my parents gave me the space to run away and return. I will post a link to this video in the description. Based on what Steiner says about our first memory being the breaking point of our I consciousness, this could be an interesting time of transformation. As we reflect on our earliest memories, we begin to see how they can shape our current spiritual journey, how they help to explore the archetypes influencing our own path. I've created a free quiz on transliminality archetypes. I'll have a link for that below if you'd like to take a look. This quiz will help you to better understand which stage of transliminality you may be experiencing and offer you insights into how to navigate this process. So, what my first memories reveal about my soul. My first memory shows an aspect of my earlier life that I still identify with. I feel an essence of my youth being one where I was focused, strong, and adventurous. This corresponds to my first memory, one where I was not going to put up with anybody's shit, and I was out the door if people didn't treat me right. New adventures awaited. This is an element of my life that I have lost, and I do wish to re-embody. This ties into what Steiner says about us connecting and merging with our Christ consciousness, the spiritual realm that helped us develop in those early years. How did I see these spiritual forces throughout my life? How do you see yours? Capturing the stories that surface in our mind via the written word or through images that tell the story or your essence from that time is a wonderful way. Not everyone is able to recall their first memory, so to support you in exploring your own earliest memory and experiences of I consciousness, I created this guided meditation. So if you like to pause the video and get yourself set up, we will do a guided active imagination meditation. Here it is. Welcome to the Inner Mirror Journey, a guided active imagination meditation. The purpose of this meditation is to uncover your earliest sense of I am through a Jungian active imagination exercise, inspired by Rudolf Steiner's idea of I consciousness. To begin, take a moment to settle in. Let your body soften, your shoulders drop. Take a deep breath. And another. Let yourself arrive. Imagine yourself standing on a path in a quiet forest. The trees around you feel ancient. There's a hush in the air, like the forest remembers something just for you. Begin to walk. Each step takes you deeper into this timeless place. Now look down at your feet. Notice your shoes. What do they look like? With each step, those shoes change. They change to shoes you wore in the past. Watch them transform as you walk further back in time. Back through your teenage years, back through childhood, and back to toddlerhood. Keep walking until the shoes feel unfamiliar or vanish altogether. There's no rush. Follow your own pace and pause this recording whenever you need. You reach a clearing. In the center, an old mirror stands tall. It reflects the forest, but when you look into it, you see yourself, not as you are now, but as your youngest remembered self. Take a moment, look closely. Who is this younger you? How do you hold yourself? What expressions do you wear? Now step into the mirror. As you cross the threshold, you enter a dreamlike space, a memoryscape. Time here isn't linear. Feelings float, images shift. Let it be as it is. You're safe here. Let yourself wander. What do you see? What sounds do you notice? Is there a smell in the air, a temperature? Where are you? And most of all, who are you here? See if you can find the moment, the very first flicker of self-awareness, the first time you knew, I am. Don't force it. If it doesn't come today, just notice how it feels to seek it. When you're ready, step back through the mirror, bringing with you any impressions, images, or feelings you gathered. Begin to walk forward again through the forest, and notice your shoes changing with each step, growing and evolving until you arrive back in the now. Feel your body here. Feel your breath. You've returned. Take a moment to rest in silence, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes and perhaps write down anything that came to you. Create an image out of something you saw or experienced during your meditation that is meaningful to you. This is your story, your remembering, and thank you for journeying inward. Now that you've journeyed inward, take some time to explore what surfaced for you. These questions can help draw the invisible into form, and you can do this through writing, art, or movement. Choose the medium that calls to you today. There is no wrong way to respond. And as you're drawing or moving, or maybe playing music, I will ask you a few questions for you to contemplate. Number one is, what was your way? How did you begin to move through the world as a child? What energy or qualities shaped your early path? Number two, what was your truth? What deep knowing or essence did you carry into this life? What felt undeniably true to your soul? Number three, what was your life, your I consciousness? Can you glimpse the moment you first sense your own I am? What did it feel like to be you for the first time? Let your responses unfold naturally. Do not imagine them or create them. Let them just pop into your head, come to you. If you like, you can draw a symbol for each, your way, your truth, and your life, or your I. You could write a poem or a journal entry that speaks from your younger self. You could use your non-dominant hand. That's a wonderful way to tap into another version of you. Move your body to express the essence of one of these three, and let it be intuitive. Perhaps your body could take a pose for each way. How does the way feel? If you had to make a pose for the way, the truth, and the life, what would it look like? As I reflect on Steiner's teachings, I realize three spiritual tasks: walking, speaking, and thinking. And they are not development milestones. Well, they are, but they're sacred patterns that we can return to again and again to realign with our best self. So questions I want to ask myself periodically throughout my journey is, 1, am I still walking my soul path with purpose? Number 2, am I still thinking my truth with clarity and care? Number 3, am I still thinking in alignment with the deeper wisdom of my being? So now I ask you, how can you reclaim or remember your soul-guided path? What does it mean to you to walk, speak, and think in alignment with your spirit today? Steiner shows us that our soul's wisdom precedes memory. By remembering, expressing, and honoring our earliest stirrings of being, we begin to align once more with our best self, the guide who has never left us. That is the way, that is the truth, that is the life. Take care.